Welcome back to episode 3 of Dead in Denver, In Search of Ghosts. Hello, friends. Starting with a dab. Great.
Dab on the
I'm also
haters.
dabbing, but you can't see it because fuck technology.
I'm dabbing.
Dabbing in solidarity.
Yeah. We are unfortunately missing one Howie Euchre Whateley. He will be here probably later.
Eventually.
We'll find out. Which is kind of odd because he was the one who's had the last line when we left off, so I'm sure that won't be any kind of trouble.
You're right.
Anyways, before we get into what happened last session, we have warm-up questions to do for our lovely brothers and bells. So, let's see, who do I want to start with? Let's start with, let's just go straight from the top. Starting with Josephine, Joe Thrombly.
Yes.
Joe, my question for you is a rather simple one. What's your favorite color?
Well, that would be green.
Do you have a reason why?
Yes. Growing up on a farm, my mother had a beautiful garden out back, and she'd grow these very pretty flowers. The flowers themselves were pink, but I particularly liked the shape of the leaves. And just the color green just reminds me of my mother's garden.
All right. Ellen Meyer. I won't be handing out the cursed gold for this until I go through everyone, just so you know. Also for the recording, for those who don't know, we added a new mechanic called cursed gold, taken from the wild cards stream. This is just a new resource they can gain at the start of sessions in different ways. They can use them like white bennies, but they last between sessions, and once used, they go to me as the DM before they are discarded. So, Ellen Meyer. Let's see. What kind of question for Ellen Meyer? What is Ellen's favorite meal?
Well, growing up in sort of a rich family, I was used to eating rather well put together meals. But I think in the end, nothing quite beats a big old pot of pinto beans.
Ooh.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Next up, Aarón Indiano. Aarón Indiano, based on where you have that accent mark.
It's Aarón, get it right.
It's
It
not.
is Aarón.
It's not, and I refuse to call him that.
God damn it.
Aarón, when was the first time you created a miracle?
I suppose that would have been when I was a boy, but the exact miracle I don't quite recall. But I do recall the sense of amazement and feeling closer to God as I performed said miracle.
It's always funny listening to you talk about God like you're faithful when I know you're not.
Hey, I went to Sunday school every Wednesday till I was like 14.
Wait a
Sunday
minute.
school on
Sunday
Wednesday.
school every Wednesday.
Yeah, not that Bible
I
school.
went to
Sorry.
church every Wednesday.
Anyways,
As if going to Sunday school makes you a good Christian.
moving on. Rowan Heally. What is your favorite, or does Rowan have a favorite gun manufacturer?
If I know anything about guns, can you give me something I know about?
If it's not Torg, you're done.
No,
Hate Tor.
You can ask.
By the
You
way,
can ask for a different. You can ask for a different question if you want a
please
different
give me a different question because I know nothing
Alright.
about guns.
How does Rowan? Does Rowan ever change up his hairstyle?
All right. No, I don't think I do. It's best to keep it simple and out of the face. Best I'll ever do is keep it short or let it grow long.
All right. And then Rose Ward.
Yes.
Every time. Rose, how many notebooks do you have? Like, how many have you had?
Have I had? I would say she's pretty conservative about how large she writes. So I'd say somewhere around. I've probably had somewhere around the mark of 20 journals. I believe I only have 10 on my person.
only 10.
All right. Only.
At least 12.
All right. I will give a Benny to all except me, obviously.
Haha, got him.
It's okay. They'll come to me in time.
Oh, shut up.
I would.
So ominous.
No.
It's also
Very
just
not
the
bad
truth.
money.
Is it bad
Based on
that
the
I
way they
feel
work.
wrong using a mechanical pencil to take notes?
This is an authentic Brenna.
Not the,
It's
I'm
not.
like,
It's not
authentic
immersive.
I'm literally here sharpening a wooden pencil because of
So,
I don't have.
last we left off, the Brothers and Bells interrogated bandit Charlie McLean about Deadeye and his gang. You guys gained a hefty amount of information from Charlie before he was shot dead by a long away sniper.
Jesus.
Jagger, any way you can quiet that keyboard a bit?
He's doing it on purpose, the fucker.
As well, Rose Ward found a clue on the Indian chief's body, a business card for one Flossie Guy's Trading Emporium.
Forgot about the name.
Yeah, and you all were able to deduce that it is likely one of the wagon traders within the Elephant Corral, not Coral.
Elephant Coral.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Jagger, please, for the
Gonna
love
have
of
to,
God.
I'm gonna have to throw that mute out. Right. U.S. Marshal Hugh Tucker came upon the aftermath afterwards, and along with the priest Aarón Indiano, the last member of the Brothers and Bells who was previously preoccupied. With the helpful hands of Miss Thrombly and the guidance of the Marshal, the party made their way back to Denver with little disruption. And as well got mostly healed up thanks to some miracles created by the missing priest, or the previously missing priest. After
you
making your
guys
way
just
back, the Brothers and Bells delivered their findings and were handsomely paid by Edward Chase, and then offered a job. You guys asked for times and went on your way, or time to make a decision, and went on your way for a much needed rest, and then off to go shopping the next day. Upon finishing shopping, we last saw our posse entering the private manor of Edward Chase to respond to his job offer. I'm gonna unmute Jagger and hope he's not typing a storm.
Oh, you just muted him for you. I could still hear it.
Oh. I didn't server mute. It's fine. So, the person who did our last line is missing. So, He says yes, we've made a decision, and our decision is, and looks to the group.
We said
Am I
yes,
muted?
What
right?
did we
I'm
decide?
not muted. Nice.
What did you decide?
Believe
I don't
we have
know.
decided that we. Wait, we did decide, right? We said we're gonna take his
Yes.
offer, but keep our
Mhm.
options open.
Mm-hmm.
We have decided to accept your kind offer, Mr. Chase. And in the unlikely event that somebody higher paying who treats us better that shows up, then we'll have a talk with both of you. But consider us yours for now.
Mr. Chase smiles and says, well, my dear, if you do find someone who pays a higher price than me, I would love to know who they are, so we could become well acquainted.
My thoughts.
Yikes.
exactly.
Anyways, feel free
Well
to have a seat and we can conduct some more business. Should you be on the payroll, we have some information to discuss. He only has 2 seats at the desk, but there's also a couch in the corner of the room.
Takes the chair and leaves.
This chair is mine now.
Have a seat. Okay.
I'm going to sit on the couch then.
Yeah.
Other talkers up front.
Rose stands in the corner.
Okay.
But she's a talker, Ben. We need her to
Shoot,
talk.
you're right. Just kidding. I guess she sits down.
All right. Chase says, my men will hand out any kind of paperwork we have to do for payroll. We don't try to do much, just in case any law enforcement comes snooping around. We don't need all of our members on paper for them to be logged. That will all be handled in due time. For the moment, you all already know of the missing shipments of mine, and I do believe it is best to keep these matters with the professionals who have started them. So if it's up to you guys, or if it's okay with you guys, I wouldn't mind having you continue searching for these missing shipments.
I have no
You
complaints.
consider us
Yes.
you consider us professionals, Mr. Chase. That's very flattering of you.
Well, I would hope I work with only professionals, and if not, it's better for the public eye to know that I do.
Good point.
But you do seem fairly qualified, so I'm proud to give you the label should you take it.
Gladly.
He takes out a map from the desk and lays it down. It's just a map of Denver. And we're going to go to Denver.
As we transition, I'm going to spend a gold to draw from the deck. And
Okay.
by gold, I mean Benny.
Go ahead.
Draw. That's all.
A reminder that this is your second card.
Yes, I have 2 cards now.
Oh, that is an interesting card.
Yeah, interesting.
That's gonna be somewhat difficult to work with. We'll see what we can do with that
We'll see
down the
how it
road.
goes.
We sure will.
Okay. So, he points at. He says, "So I know you two, you all might be looking for Deadeye in the near future. It seems like he has a big part to play for this, and I, for one, don't care too much about bounty hunting. So if you can catch him, that reward is all your business to take care of. His gang and him like to hang out in the Palace Theater over in the Second Ward on their nights off. It's a center for all entertainment, if you will. Bar fights, gambling, underground arenas, anything you want in entertainment could probably be found there. Anything that can't be found there can be found in Hop Alley. Says, so, if you're going to find Deadeye anywhere, I imagine he's there, especially if there's law officers looking for him. You'll have to be careful, though, because they don't allow disputes on theater ground, so if he is there, you might have to find a way to drag him out.
What theater?
The Palace Theater.
Palace Theater.
Otherwise, you might already know this, but the Boot Hill, as you mentioned, is a nickname for the cemetery. With it being so large, you might have trouble finding anything in there. Any dealings in Boot Hill, I mean, it's not uncommon for dealings to be in Boot Hill since it's a quiet area. Not a lot of people like to go there, especially once rumors started coming up of supernatural events down there. Anything they're doing in Boot Hill is either a trade or they're storing items within the graves. Sacrilege for both, so I'm sure the city wouldn't mind if they went away. But as far as, since Boot Hill is so large, you might have trouble finding anything down there just because of how many graves are there. So,
Right.
you might have better luck actually looking in the Elephant Corral, see if you can notice any large quantities of new ghost rock for sale. Because I imagine anybody who's got hands on my ghost rock is looking to get rid of it rather quickly.
I'm sure we can find a certain somebody who just got their hands on a large amount.
I've got a regular down there, a regular payroll member of mine, Anne Norman. She's my eyes and ears down at the Elephant Corral, so might help to go visit her.
And Norman, you said?
Anne Norman. If you need to know how to spell that. Yeah. Chase then sits down, takes his arms and into like a thinking pose, and begins, takes a moment to pause and think to himself, and says, "There's quite a few people in town who might want to strike me down a bit. That may be worth investigating, or at least starting an investigation, should you choose. First and foremost, I would guess the Rail Barons would be on this. The railroad empires who love to do everything they can to push their railroads further for those government contracts offered by the East. The ones in town are Black River, run by Mina Devlin, Union Blue, run by Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, and Wasatch, run by Darius Hellstrom. I don't know much about the other two. What was that?
Could you write that down or repeat it or something?
Yeah. I'll throw that down there. Just give me a moment.
Thank you.
No.
Thanks.
Thank you, Papa DM.
I don't know much about Black River, I'll be honest. They tend to stay discreet, and any spies I sent their way have been brutally executed. So I got the message not to pry. Union Blue and Joshua Lawrence tend to be upstanding guys. They mainly hire ex-soldiers. I cannot speak to his crew, but Joshua Chamberlain himself is a very upstanding man. Wasatch is a bit of a strange one. Darius Hellstrom, as many of you might know, is a very accomplished scientist, and it shows in his station. I'd be careful prying around there. A lot of people have got strange devices they're very ready to use. I wouldn't want to know what kind of experimental weapons he's been coming up with. I do know that Wasatch has recently undergone new management as far as their local branch. A man named under the name of Clyde McIntyre started overseeing the Denver operations. Other than that, that's most of my information I have up front about the Rail Barons. Other than them, there's certainly other businessmen in town who would love to lunge at an opportunity to hit me a bit, though not many of them are so daring to attack the most popular train in town. Of the ones I would expect, here would be a few of them, and he writes some stuff down and brings them over, basically names and titles and such, and I'm gonna say them out loud, because he's gonna continue talking about them. First one on my list would be Bella Hughes. He's been in seclusion for some time, but other than me, he's the most powerful man in town and has a lot of influence. I don't know if he'd for sure try anything. As I said, he's been secluded for the last couple of years. Nobody's seen a lot of him. But who knows? He might be wanting to get back in the gang, or into the gang territory and business. You can usually find him more on the outskirts of town. His manor is actually outside of Denver itself on private property. In town, there's Herbert Grimes. He's the big lawyer in town. Always stirring up trouble to set people up for court. I'm sure he would have a lot to gain from catching me in illegal acts. Though I would never be put away for good, he could still make a good profit off of it. So, never know what he's gonna do. Nellie Becker owns many of the hotels in Denver. Rumor has reached my ears that she has gotten rather tired of dealing with my operational rules recently, so don't really know what she's capable of currently. Next up would be Tatum Lowry. I'm sorry?
What was her name again?
Nellie Becker. I'm going to paste all this in the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm typing furiously.
He said, bruh.
Next up, Tatum Lowry. He's probably one of the bigger hustlers in town. He manages most of the local gangs that keep lawmen on their toes, basically keep them out of prying into my business. I would imagine out of all the people, he'd be the one most likely to work with Irish folk. So, could be worth a start. And then last would probably be Virgil Hall. Unlike Tatum, Mr. Hall actually has lawmen on his payroll, and some say he even has a Pinkerton mole. If anyone's set to make a move against me, I would imagine Virgil Hall would be, since he would be able to keep himself out of the limelight himself. As far as what comes to mind, those would be the most likely people. Other than that, any other information I can give, if you have questions, I'm welcome to answer them again, or answer them in more detail. And for those of you who are injured, I see a couple of you still have some rather nasty looking wounds. If you stop by the Catholic Church, Bishop Macaboth is a rather upstanding man and not one to pry anyone away. Just, I wouldn't tell him I sent you.
All right, thank you so much for the information.
I have a question. You said, what was the name of that gentleman that leads the Wasatch here in Denver?
Darius Hellstrom. And this would be a name that...
The local branch.
Oh, Clyde McIntyre. Recently came in just like the last, probably month or so. A new man in town, but my sources say that he has been rather efficient and a little brutal.
That's all I wanted to do.
You got me though.
Big oof.
So if you all have any other questions, I'm welcome to talk that out. Otherwise, my men will see you on the way out to pick up the payroll paperwork on while you collect your stuff.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chase. The information you have given us will surely be instrumental to our
A lot
Anytime,
of
Miss
information.
Mr.
I
Chase, I
will-
do have a question. Has the new Wasatch having New Denver management caused any waves in town in particular?
Not in town, but they have a location pretty close nearby called Camp Hades that's gone rather silent. Not sure why, but within town, it's been a lot harder to get any information. And yeah, I had something else I kind of wanted to mention, but I forgot, which means it wasn't important enough.
Got you.
Yeah.
What about some Irish gangs in town? What about them? If the Ghost Rock was being sold to them, maybe we should know who they are.
I'd love to say who, but you seem to have known more about them than I do. There's multiple Irish gangs in town. Again, most of them are kept by Mr. Lowry. He manages a lot of the gangs in town to keep lawfolk on their toes. So I'd imagine if anyone knows who the Irish is, either he will or maybe Deadeye might know.
Does he?
I don't think
Does
we'll
he
be having a civil
specifically-
conversation with Deadeye anytime soon.
Is he specifically looking to keep the lawmen on their toes, or does he have another objective?
That's probably a better question for him, though. For my purposes, he sells his services to many members of the city, myself included, to keep the lawmen too busy to pry into our private affairs. So, if Mr. Lowry is up to something against me, I would love for his operations to continue, even if the man shouldn't.
I see.
And as far as the shipments themselves, some of it was mining gear, some of it was other business prospects that don't have to be pried into for the moment. The only one I'm concerned at for right now is the Ghost Rock.
Yes,
Someone's
that is
planning-
quite a lucrative business now, isn't
Yes. I'd love to know if any new members are trying to upset my trade. So, yeah.
it? Yeah.
As far as the
we don't want that.
So as said earlier, the Elephant Corral, if someone has got my Ghost Rock and is trying to sell it, I would expect them to do it at the Elephant Corral, because that's where the black market is. And I would imagine you might run into some rail barons there as well.
I see. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chase, for your time. And unless we have any other questions, Rose looks around to the rest of the party. I think we are good to
I-
go.
Do have a question. Thanks, though, Ben.
Just kidding. Mijo didn't speak up when I left him time to speak up, so...
I did, but you said too fast. No, Nelly,
Cultivate
Does
time,
she
you gotta
just
give, like, 5, 6
run
seconds
hotels?
to answer the question.
or is it the other kind of hotel? The pleasure kind.
Oh, you mean the place where they got the titties?
Sir, in any of those hotels, there's not much of a difference.
Notice that
Right.
notice that wasn't in character voice.
Still.
Though
Imagine
a lot of
walking
those,
in somewhere.
a lot of
Bruh.
those more, a lot of the
Stop.
less discreet houses tend to be in the red light district. If you're curious.
I was just specifying.
He's doing research. It's for a research project, guys. Don't worry about it.
Thanks. That was not the point of the question, but I'm glad y'all latched onto that.
It's the point of the question now.
Well, it looks like our first stop must be the Elephant Corral then, huh?
Indeed.
I want to see if I can find this Flossie Guy. Guy Flossie? The fuck's
Love
his
that name.
Flossie Guy. You got it right. That's his
Flossie
first and
Guy.
last name. All right, so you guys head out of Chase Manor, unless you have any more questions, but it doesn't seem like you do.
Actually, before we leave, Ellen's gonna state sorry. I wanted to do this last session, I didn't.
Go ahead.
She'll stick around for a little bit and then kind of look at Mr. Chase and be like, Mr. Chase, would you happen to have any more of that whiskey?
Now imagine what might happen when you try our whiskey.
He reach under, pulls it up, just puts the bottle on the desk, and says, "Consider it hiring on add-on."
Thank you much, Mr. Chase. This will prove invaluable in our journeys. Ellen will head out.
Yeah.
I would have waited at the door for Ellen.
Yeah, no problem. On the way,
Outside.
yeah, on the way outside the mansion, on your way outside the manor, they have you fill out just a small amount of paperwork. It's essentially, just a front and back page where you sign your name in two places, and there's not a lot. It's not like a contract per se. It's more of you're identifying that this is who you are.
Okay.
Is mostly what it says, and
wanna
that
read it-
you are working for him.
Okay. I read it just to make sure there's nothing fishy, but you said there's not, so.
A lot of it talks into, like, a lot of the finer points talks into basically you cannot have Mr. Chase send your paycheck to someone else. It can only be given to you. If you're terminated on the job, no paycheck
You
will be
die.
given out.
Got it. No,
And as
that's fair.
Chase can end the deal whenever he feels necessary, though it will come with verbal agreement or verbal announcement to you, which means it could be you're fired. Dude.
He's got the Colt.
You're pre-fired. I just pre-fired you.
And they give you your weapons back. They carefully give you your dynamite back. And you guys are pushed, or not pushed, but let out onto the streets with your mounts, of course.
Get out!
Boo.
You flea bags.
On the way out, as you guys are leaving the manor, Chase comes onto the balcony and like leans over and just speaks, and he says, "And I don't believe we met last time, so it's good to meet you this time, Father."
Likewise, Mr. Chase.
And he goes back inside after, like, he takes a moment to like study Mr. Indiano before heading back inside.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I
We
turned the
sure
noise
can.
suppression on.
Fucking moth in here.
Oh, it
Can
was
be
just
attacked by
Mother's Day.
bugs.
How did a moth get in here? Where'd it go? It just disappeared.
The Mothman. Guys,
The
KB
worst!
thinking it.
Mothman!
He's
Mothman.
having
Mothman.
hallucinations.
I'll find it
In-
later.
In the
Say,
town
I
in the
say,
town where
Mothman.
Mothman originated, there's this like badass statue of Mothman in the center of town. It's got like an 8-pack of abs. Insane,
that.
y'all.
Bro, I'd sure get to Mothman every day, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I never thought I'd ever say it ever in my life.
Me personally, Jersey Devil.
Oh, he got them
For
abs.
real, though. What about Goatman? He's
Nah.
rich.
Got the-
Hmm.
He got the
Ugly.
biggest dickus. Okay,
Mijo, to
yeah,
answer
step
your
to the side.
question, rumors tend to, as far as traveling far and wide, they tend to be a bit slow.
But like specifically for the people who are there.
I know. Like, unless
Okay.
they started back east with you, it's not likely for them to know those rumors.
Okay.
So these factions that you listed off, the
I'll be
Black
right
River,
back,
the
hold
Union
on.
Blue, and the Lost. Okay.
We got a quick flash of KB, but it was sexy while it lasted.
Not my proudest fab.
Maybe you all.
The return of the vacuum.
Holy shit.
The power vac. You got that big suck.
Out of all the things I was expecting him to do when he got up, that wasn't one of them.
I got him. The moth is
I
on my
had a
screen.
question.
Suck.
I had a question,
What's your question?
Game Master. So these factions you listed off, the Black River, Union Blue, and Wasatch, they were factions. They are the Rail Barons, right?
The Rail Barons, yes.
Got it. Okay.
Essentially, in our current place where the campaign takes place, 1879, the U.S. is currently in the Great Rails War. The Great Rail Wars. Or the Great Rails War? I don't know. But it's essentially... the Union and the Confederacy both released announcements for a government contract for the first transcontinental railroad. Gets both contracts if they can connect the Great Maze to back east. And so from that, a bunch of different rail companies started building rails and sabotaging each other's rails, like hiring people to go rob the other companies and like actually rob the trains, and sometimes just slaughter everyone on the trains in order to change people's business to them instead. So they tend to be a bit brutal, or some of them do. But that's who the Rail Barons are. Currently, the one winning the race. Currently, the one winning the race of the people local in town would be Wasatch.
Great. Yay.
No. Okay, so you didn't tell us anything about the Denver Pacific Station, right? Who runs
The
that one?
The Denver Pacific Station is a local station, like a local railroad. That railroad only goes through the Black Hills into Utah, and that's all it goes to, and then it comes back.
Gotcha.
Well, shall we head to the Elephant Corral?
Yes.
As soon as someone reminds me where it is.
It's right this way. And I show
Thanks.
him the direction of the corral.
Ah,
Oh, we're in the river.
now I see it. We swam there. It's faster.
Efficiency.
All right, so you guys make your way over to the Elephant Corral.
Elephant Graveyard. You must never
Okay.
go there.
So since you guys have horses, it doesn't take you too long to get there. It only takes about probably 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in between there. Not long at all. and you make your way towards the Elephant Corral building, and you notice is basically the building doesn't have walls to it, but it has a roof. It's like a giant metal tent, and there's just it actually takes up multiple buildings. It's not just one, and there's about 100 wagon carts that have set up to sell their goods, basically
Are they
yelling
shaped
at
like
people as they
elephants?
cry. I'm sorry?
Are they shaped like elephants?
No,
Damn.
As
they're shaped
soon as
like
we
wagons.
I want to find a booth that sells like cloth or like clothing, and I want to find like a large piece of cloth I can like wrap around my head and like
Okay.
cover my face with a little bit.
Yeah, easy to do. That's not a hard requirement. So probably one of the first few wagons you pass by, you can find that pretty easily.
Okay, I'm gonna purchase it and put it on.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna try to cover the bottom of my face a little bit.
Yeah, it's less than $4. It's not going to affect your wealth at all.
Are you trying to get a face mask to stop the spreading of the elephant virus?
Exactly, you caught me.
Okay.
Yep.
KB, a broken man.
Yeah, you see all these wagons. There's people standing in front of every wagon, like calling out to other people as they walk by, basically like calling out, "Hey, come check out my goods. I got half off from that other guy." And like they're all yelling across from this corral.
I would like to look for one Flossie Guy.
Okay.
It's probably
I
moving
don't
his
know what he
hands
looks like.
back and forth over his waist while also
would-
moving his waist.
I'll wait. I would like to support Rose's role.
Okay. So, Rose, tell me how you're looking, and Ellen, tell me how you're supporting.
Rose is trying to look like she's looking for something, but like none of the booths have it. So she's looking like from place to place.
Okay, so
from
you're
vendor
just
to
wandering, essentially.
Yeah,
Ellen is
But,
going to
like-
be. No, go ahead.
but like actually not looking at what they have, but like looking for like the logo that's on the card or something.
Yeah, so you're just walking around looking for Flossie.
hmm
Ellen is going to be doing similar things, but asking like more pointed questions to the merchants, like not mentioning Flossie by name, but like trying to fish out like any sort of information that she can.
Okay. So, Ellen, make a persuasion roll.
Oh, beans! I should have used that.
And Rose, you're going to make a notice roll.
That is a big bummer, dude.
Big loop.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a moment to look up the rules of getting a raise on supporting.
Extra support. I think it just adds a +1, doesn't it?
Yes, I don't know if it adds like extra plus, like if you can raise multiple times or if it's just one raise. It says a raise adds +2. I'm gonna say you can have multiple raises because that's more fun. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's +3 to the roll. So 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the total.
Also,
Okay.
I would like to use a curse gold to reroll.
All right, go ahead.
Actual...
Toss that gold on the table.
Sure.
I
Did it
would
go on the
say,
table?
just as a starter, it's better to go through your bennies than it is to go through cursed gold.
It is. In that case, I'm going to go through a Benny instead.
All right, so pick up your gold.
Where did it go? Bam. First bam. Can I just click
Nope. Right click it.
it? Right click it. I am a technological wizard. Boom. Where is my thing?
Why is it up there? Alright. 6, so 7, 8, 9. That is a success and a raise. Alright, so you begin looking around with Ellen's help, checking out, scanning basically the entire corral here. And nobody seems to know a Flossie Guy.
Mm-hmm. Rip.
That's the quote of the week.
But they do with a raise. I will say, Ellen, I'll say as part of this, you started asking around for more pointed goods that wouldn't be available normally. And there were a couple people told you in secret, they're started mentioning you need to look for the black market. You will find it underneath the corral. If you go through that building and go to the this wagon, that he has a ladder underneath it that he can let you to, and he starts giving you all that information.
All right.
Pretty Flossie for guy. Can you stop speaking as blast templates?
What? Why is there 3 of these?
Because they're different blast
I thought
templates. What
that
do you
was-
mean? Why are there different versions?
I thought you just changed his name.
I have you control for that so that you can move them onto the field when you're casting spells, not to abuse in chat.
Oh,
Anyways,
it's not confusing. I know that Jagger is the only one doing it.
all right. So, I assume Ellen, you tell Rose about your discoveries.
Oh yeah.
Shall we go down there in search of a bit more eventful?
I
story?
suppose, should we get the others as well to come with us?
I wouldn't see any harm in bringing Joe.
Oof.
Oh, I'll try. I'm coming.
Okay, so you
The
guys are
whole
just
time that
leaving.
they-
You guys are just
whole
leaving the
time.
priest and Rowan to just wander around the elephant corral.
Yep.
The guy that hits the hardest.
Alright.
And
I'm
the guy
sorry,
that can
we
heal
do
you.
love you out of character.
The guys that are two very important parts of a team. Sure, Ben. Let's leave those guys out.
Actually, I think I'm going to stay up here. It might be safer if just 2 of you go.
That's probably a wise point.
Yeah, and she's saying this to you through a cowl that she's put on her head.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
whispering.
All right, Ellen. So the
Joe, I'm gonna give you a Benny for roleplay.
all right, Ellen. So our story is we need lots and lots of ghost rock, and we couldn't find what we needed up there, so we're looking for more.
Okay, but what should we say that we need the ghost rock for? I'm sure someone will ask.
I've been doing some experimental treatments with it. Hasn't exactly turned out the best so far,
She's
but
trying to turn herself
but,
into the Hulk.
It's
I'm
possible.
hopeful.
Then again, it is the black market. I doubt people will be asking too many questions as long as we've got enough money.
And money I do have. 12 on my wealth die. Fuck yeah.
So you guys want to
Abe.
descend into the underground corral?
Yep.
I think Ellen can handle herself.
I'm
So you guys-
really good with persuasion. That's all I do.
You guys descend your way into the underground, going down a ladder. You find a person, you talk to him. He has a phrase to say. It's sphincter. You go down.
Really?
Thanks.
You hated it when fucking Bree did that.
You head down the ladder, and as you descend the ladder, there's a door at the bottom, like it's etched in area with the door, and you open up the double doors, and it is a somewhat expansive room of about 20 or more wagons down here, and you can see there's a path off to the right for them to leave, like for them to take their wagons out of here when they're done. But there's significantly less wagons down here, and the people down here, they're not like advertising their goods, they're guarding it.
Got it. I hate the phrase "I've commandeered sphincter." Anyways,
And as an
so
extra effect from your
go
raise
ahead.
and the relic that you already have, the
Mhm.
Flossie Guy's Trading Emporium business card, looking at the business card, you can see it does have like patterns on it. And you look up and you can see above one of the wagons is a similar pattern.
Rose would like to head to that wagon.
All right. So, heading to that wagon, it is rather full. It has a lot of boxes on it. Like, even compared to the wagons around it, this one has significantly more boxes on it, and things like tied to the side of the wagon and all of that. And on the wagon, you can see a rather thin-looking man shoving what appears to be a doll into one of the boxes and like trying to like shove it in there, like, come on, get in there. Trying to like
God.
get it all to close. He like stands on it and starts jumping on it to try to get the barrel to close.
Doll.
What do you do?
And what did that poor doll do to you, mister?
He looks up, says, why, it was sold to me. Who are you? You looking to buy? You looking to sell? And he jumps down, holds out his hand, says, Flossie Guy, at your service.
Oh wow, he's an extrovert for sure.
You may call me Rosary, for that is my name. I'm
Rosaroo?
looking. What? could you say that one more time? Ben didn't hear.
Rosaroo, nice to meet you.
Fair enough. All right, this guy's old. Got it.
Got
No.
it. Understood.
Or
Either
dead.
he's old or he's just
So,
stupid. Mood.
Getting a
All right,
closer
that's
look
mood.
at him, he is thin. He's wearing clothes that don't look expensive per se. His beard looks unkempt. He's bald on top, and he looks about middle-aged. He is missing approximately three to five teeth. You don't know.
Approximately.
Approximately 3 to 5. Got it. I am looking to purchase some ghost rock. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of ghost rock for sale up above. But I need a lot of it. I need an absurd amount of ghost rock.
Well, let me tell you, sir. My bad, madam.
No worries, Mr. Flossie Guy.
Let me tell you, madam, Mr. Guy here can find anything you need for not any price, but I'll try my best. Ghost rock. Lots of ghost rock going around recently, but not a lot from me. It's quite a troublesome matter, really. It's worth a lot, I'm told. Haven't actually messed with it before.
It is quite fun to experiment with.
If you're looking for ghost rock, There is someone selling Ghost Rock. They're quite new in here. I haven't seen them before, so I can't put my Flossie Guy trademark on him, but,
Flossie Guy trademark. Oh no.
they have a negotiator around here. He goes by the name Mr. Romani, but he always has these, I don't know, Gaelic fellas following him around. It's quite nasty.
He always has what fellows?
Gaelic. Irish.
Gaelic.
Celtic.
Got it.
Yeah.
I straight
kind
up
of
just
stuff.
heard gay fellows, and I was like, what?
That too. Gay Gaelic fellows.
But if there's
All
anything
right.
else you need, Flossie's your guy. If you need to sell something illegal, you can come to Flossie.
All right, that is good to know. Thank you very much, sir.
But for law reasons, you didn't hear me say that.
Trust me, I don't even know your name. Rosewing.
It's Flossie Guy.
This poor idiot.
Inspector Jones, is that you?
So yeah, Flossie Guy is a fence. If you haven't figured that out yet.
Yep, definitely.
He's a what?
He's a
A
fence.
fence. If you acquire goods illegally, you can sell them to Flossie. Which I'm sure
I
is
look
more
around for
information
that-
for Ethan than it is for anyone else.
We'll make sure to let him know.
Alright.
Can I look? Oh, go ahead, KB, Mr. DM, sir. You have my full commandeered attention.
Yeah.
Commandeered Sphincter.
He says, if you're looking for Mr. Romani, I can show you which tent he's at. I don't know all the boys that are around, but they work for someone called Faye Devane. They call themselves the Pain of Devane.
Faye Devane. Interesting.
Lore.
Yeah,
Oh, is that not
Faye
crucial?
Devane.
It's not fully crucial.
I'm writing it down anyway.
While they're down there, I'm going to be very aware of my surroundings and the people in the Elephant Corral.
Okay, so our attention shifts as Flossie like jumps off from his wagon, kicks one of the crates, and like a possum comes out like screaming out of him. He says, "Guard the cart! I'll show you where he is." He starts walking with you guys. And the camera zooms out from the underground back onto the top to Joe, Indiano, and Heally. I'm not gonna name the possum.
What? Ooh.
His name is Squishy.
His name is Romani, right? Not
Maybe
the
he has a
possum,
name, but he
the-
didn't say it, so it doesn't matter.
The guy.
So you want to look around? You're looking around for your special item.
Yeah. Yes.
Rowan's just going to be watching the trapdoor.
Okay. You weren't told about the trapdoor?
Oh, okay, never mind then. He ain't doing that because they're jerks. He's.
Still love you.
No, you don't, you liar.
The guy's name
he's
is Flossie.
Sitting
He's
dejectedly.
Brushy.
I don't know what he's doing then.
Joe, make a notice check.
Brushy guy. Yeah.
And I am gonna make a check from one Clyde McIntyre.
Dear.
No, it won't. He's not
Damn
here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because I didn't think
checking around, you don't see anyone of suspicious nature to your inclination.
We're just gonna look for something interesting, anything interesting. Running around, looking for interesting items.
Yeah, once I don't see him, I'm gonna kind of like loosen it up a little bit Just a little bit though. I'm not taking it off. I'm just gonna like get it away from my face because I can't breathe. I
Okay.
don't like it on my face.
You are looking for an interesting item. Let me roll something real quick. See what the chances are that this item is here. Okay.
Oh,
Three,
that was just filler, but sure.
3 chances.
The item is not there. You can't find anything of too... You don't find anything too out of the ordinary. It's a lot of bits and baubles. A lot of people seem to be selling their homemade stuff. Though there are people trading actual gear,
Farmer's
actual
market.
equipment. It is very much like a farmer's market, yes.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
there are
good then.
some things selling things of high repute, but nothing that really catches your eye.
That's it then for me.
All right. So does anyone else have anyone else above ground have anything they want to do?
Above them.
What would you like to
Not
do?
particularly.
Okay. All right, then this is where we will take our first break.
All right.
Break.
So I'll see you guys back
I'll
here
let y'all enjoy my
fairly
cat.
soon.
Now we'll be right